Welcome to Notes from the Not There Yet, a podcast for those navigating life's messy middle. Not lost, not arrived, just not there yet. It's the real stories, real life, and relevant journeys that you can actually relate to. It's for the creatives, the seekers, the doers, and the dreamers. If you've ever asked yourself, is this it or what's next? Then this is the podcast for you. We don't have it all figured out yet, and that's the point. All right, let's dig in. Hello! Today's guest is someone whose words stopped me in my tracks before I even knew his name, literally. I first came across Tom Stock's The Chubby Northerner through one of his poems, Chalked into the Streets of Manchester. It caught me and made me feel something in the middle of an ordinary day. But once I started uncovering Tom's journey and story, I was absolutely wowed. Behind those chalk lines is a story of turbulence, graft, and relentless dedication, not just to his own dreams, but to making sure others could chase theirs too. From growing up in Bolton and discovering a love for drama to earning a place at East 15 Drama School, only to find the doors closed by cost. Tom didn't step back, he stepped up. Tom launched Actor Awareness, a campaign which challenged elitism in the arts, building platforms for working class actors and even sparking the acting class documentary alongside names like Christopher Eccleston and Maxine Peake. When lockdown came, he found a new voice in spoken words. His Pavement poetry and most recently his poety has since spread hope and connection and positivity across Manchester and Wigan, reaching strangers in moments when they needed it the most. What strikes me most about Tom is his honesty, his gumption, and his resilience. He's been trolled, doubted, and written off multiple times, yet he's also been celebrated, commissioned, and invited into rooms he once thought were completely off limits for him. This conversation is about what it really means to keep showing up when you really feel like you're not there yet. Tom's journey proves that you don't need to have permission to create, and sometimes the bravest thing you can do is put your words quite literally out on the streets. All right, let's dig in. Let's do this.
Okay, yeah.
So, Actor Awareness campaign launched around 2014, 2015. Before we kind of dive into that fully, talk us through kind of your journey up until that point, and I guess why Actor Awareness was kind of such an important campaign for you when you launched it.
Yeah. Where do I start with it, really? I think that obviously I did school, college, all that sort of stuff. I was predicted like no GCSEs, and the only like thing that I got above a C was drama. So I was like, right, well, I'll just have to do this then.
Yeah.
And then I went to Pendleton College, did a bit of musical theatre, and then you just sort of like drilled into you, like you have to go to drama school to make it. And I suppose that I didn't know much outside of acting, musical theatre. And then I realised I like musical theatre, I wasn't in love with it. And then I sort of started leaning more into the acting side of it. So I was like, I actually prefer acting, I think. I love musicals, don't get me wrong, but I prefer acting. So, yeah. Then I auditioned for drama school, and it was good back then because the financial barriers were in place, but the audition fees were a bit cheaper. And what made it the most affordable was because Pendleton College has such a renowned reputation.
Yeah.
The drama schools came to Manchester and came to audition people there and at the college. So like Central, RADA, all that sort of stuff came to us. And I wasn't 18 then. I was 17, and I got into 2 drama schools, and they both were like we really want you, but I think you're just a bit too young. Because I was 17, because my birthday's in August, it feels a bit weird.
Ah, okay, yeah.
So they were like, just like keep going with it, but just I think you're just a bit too young to come to London at that age. And
How
I was
did it
like,
feel when you?
I was
got
raging.
it?
And I was
Yeah.
like, shut up, mate.
Yeah.
Do you want
How
one?
dare you?
How dare you? Ageist.
Ages at 17. I know I'm ready.
But I get it, and I
Yeah.
think I was. But I still wanted to go and do something, because I guess in that time with education, you're so terrified of leaving education. You're just like, nah, I'm going to do it. So that's when I went to uni and did 3 years at uni.
Which you were a bit reluctant, weren't you, to go to uni as well?
Yeah, I was reluctant to go to uni, but because I was just terrified of not doing anything, I went to uni, and even after the first few months, I was like, I'm going to come home. My dad was like, nah, stick to it. So we did it, and I stuck out for 3 years, and that's when I was like, I do need, because it wasn't the most renowned university in the world, but it did a job. And that's when I knew that I needed a drama school, or I thought I needed a drama school on my CV to get me in those audition rooms, because again, you're just so, I don't know, you're just so moulded into
That's the way
to do it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah.
only path into the industry. There's
Yeah.
no other way to do it, which is not true. And obviously I'll come on to that later, but that's when I was like, right, I need to audition. And I auditioned again, got into drama schools, but the ages thing wasn't the thing anymore. It was the money thing now. Because when you do MAs, there's no schemes to really help you pay those fees like there was when you do like official BAs or anything like that. So I got in and realised that, oh yeah, I need money, and I haven't got that at the moment. So they were like, you can defer your place for a year. So I deferred my place for a year, and in that time, I moved to London. I was like, well, I'm going to move to London. I'm going to go next year. I might as well settle down and all that sort of stuff. So I moved there, got a job as a chef and things like that. And then during that time as well, obviously I got the acting bug. Like, you still want to sort of do it.
Yeah.
So I went to Edinburgh and did Dracula, which was really cool. Did Edinburgh. You might as well just flush 15 grand down the toilet though, because it doesn't.
Which I feel like people don't talk about when you go to Edinburgh Fringe. It's like, oh, you know, you go and like Edinburgh Fringe is the place to be.
That's what I mean. There's so much competition there and things like that. And look, like, I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't my money, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And when you're already kind of looking to essentially save to go to drama school as well, but you needed to kind of support your acting.
Yeah. And that's the big problem, is that I probably spent, well, I was nowhere near it anyway. So then when it came around again, I was still thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds short, even though I was working every hour under the sun as a chef. What I would do is I'd go, at one point I was working, I'd get in at like 9 a.m, work as a chef until about 4, and then I'd jump on the bar and do a bar shift like 5 till 11 at night. So I'd be doing like 13, 14 hour shifts and things like that. It's just no way to live. So then it came around again, deferred my place again, and it got to Christmas, and I was like, do you know what? This is just, can I swear? Shit.
Do it.
And I was chasing a dream I couldn't afford. So I was just like, this isn't great. So,
and it's so interesting, like you say, like you've been pushed from school, basically. Drama school's the right route, drama's the way to go, like, you know, that kind of qualification, if you will, or that's the direction you need to go to do what you wanted to do, which was become an actor, and yet you being told no, basically.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is that I clearly had, and that's not to blow my own trumpet, but I clearly had the talent, but the thing that was holding me back was the finances. So I was like, well, what the hell? Like, what can I do about this? So that's when I started the actor awareness stuff, and that's when I started shouting my mouth off online.
Yeah, so talk us through like how it started. Do you remember like the first, it was Twitter, right? You went to the first tweet.
I think, I don't remember how, it just sort of, it wasn't just like, right, I'm going to take on the industry. I think I just started like, I don't know. Twitter was a big thing back then. It's not as much now, but obviously back then it was massive.
Yeah.
And I'd just air my thoughts. I'd just be like, why? And you know, why is this happening? You know, financial barriers. And it's not just that, it's like the show reel, the headshots, the spotlight, the everything. It's just like, if you're from a working class background, how are you ever supposed to support yourself and do any of this stuff? Like, in no other job interview do you have to pay for the privilege to audition or whatever. And in this industry, it is absolutely mad.
Yeah, that is such a good point, actually. Not even thought about it that way. Like, in no other career that I know, you would be like, right, I want to pay you to interview for a role within that.
And like in most other jobs as well, you don't have to pay for the equipment. Like, yeah, okay, fine. If you're a plumber or whatever, you have to buy some tools and things like that. But nowhere near the sort of like stuff that you know, you say it's like £300-400 for your headshots. Then it's like anywhere between £500 and over £1,000 for your show reel. And then you're paying monthly subscriptions to Spotlight. Back then there was Star Now, Cast and Call Pro. It all just racks up, and it's just like, this is stacked against you if you've not got money.
Yeah.
So all of this was aired online, and people were like, resonated with it. And I was like, oh, cool. And it just started as that. I never was like, I'm going to become the mouthpiece for working class actors.
Yeah.
Like, it was never just became that.
It just was a passion that you had because that was the situation that you were in.
Yeah. And obviously back then, hashtags were like the thing. Like, they're not so much now, but back then it was like, if you get one hashtag going, then it just sort of like goes and goes and goes. So then my hashtag was #actor awareness, and it very much became a campaign. It was never like, it wasn't even an official campaign. It was just me and talking about it all. So that's where it happened. And then
when did you feel like, oh, there's actually some in this? Like, when did you realise that actually, like, this is properly getting heard? And like you say, people were resonating with.
I think that when, I wouldn't say famous actors, but like well-known actors would resonate with it. And when I started, I was like, right, how do I capitalise on this? And I was like, if I just get everyday people, if you agree with the sentiment and the mission statement of actor awareness, hold up a picture saying #actor awareness on it. And that's when it just sort of like started off with like my mates. I'm like, please just like take your picture. Yeah, put this up so we can get some momentum with it. And that's where it really took off, because that's when that happened. And then there was like Francis Barber, I think, was like the first big one. And then it just sort of like catapulted. And I can't remember his name now, but he was in The Hobbit. He did it.
Martin Freeman?
No, it's not that big. There's other actors in The Hobbit. It's not just Martin Freeman.
He's the best one.
No, he's like Stephen Fry's little guy.
Oh my God, do you ever know him?
Dresses,
with the long hair. With
yeah. Him, he held it up. And I was like, oh my God, cool. And then This Is England cast held it up with Vicky McClure and Andrew and all that sort of stuff. Just, that's when it took off. And that's when, the stage article was written.
Well, so the stage article, the stage, for anyone that doesn't know, is like a publication essentially in the arts industry. And they said that it had never been more than a hashtag.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it was, I'd gone through some tricky things around it because I was like, oh, this is becoming a thing. So I was like, I need some kind of like logo. And I remember designing a logo and then putting it online and getting absolutely slated. And I think it was like a cog in the wheel. And then it had like a pencil and it had like a fist in it. And then it was like, people were like, it was like, I couldn't remember. It was like, they were like, could it be a Nazi and stuff like that? It was mad.
Yeah.
And like, so that was going on. Then this article came out by someone who I knew closely as well. And I was just like, what is going on? And that's when I knew I was doing something right.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if there's pushback to it and I'm getting noticed in, I mean, you can't call it national press, but the biggest newspaper in the industry.
Yeah.
I knew I was kind of doing something right, because I feel like if you're making press, you're probably doing something.
Which is a really interesting way to look at it, because I think a lot of people actually would have gone, oh shit.
Oh, I did.
Yeah. Yeah, but at the same, a lot of people might have gone backwards and just stopped at that point. What do you think kind of pushed you to keep going?
I think that, is it an ego thing? I don't know. I like being told no because I like being underestimated, because I like proving people wrong. Nice. And look, don't get me wrong, for a week I was like in tears and just like, oh my God, what's going to go on? What's happening? Like, why is this happening? But after I sort of took a step back and going, no, this is, if any good thing comes, there's always going to be haters. So that's when I knew I was doing something, and I'll push even more. And I'm actually thankful. So thank you, stage. Because it made me go, yeah, it is just a hashtag. Let's get it offline.
Yeah.
So that's when I started going, right, let's meet up. If you're interested in doing something about it, let's meet up somewhere and let's discuss what's the next steps. So the Phoenix Artists Club, which is in London, which is underneath one of the theatres, it's like an arts bar.
I like that bar.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah. It's really good. Spent many drunken nights.
I bet.
But they were like, yeah, you can come and have the space. Like, they set it out, and I didn't really know what I was asking of people. It was just more like a brainstorming session. So I think there was probably 30 people that came down. Again, didn't know hardly any of them. And I was just like, what can we do? How do we support working class artists in the industry? And that's when I first became aware of scratch nights.
Yeah. Just for anyone that doesn't know.
Yeah. So scratch nights are basically just short segments of plays, scenes, things like that basically just showcase directors, writers and actors. Yeah. So that's when I was told about these, and I was like, great, this is perfect that we can sort of do that. And I was like, the big thing with drama schools is, look, the training's great, but it all leads up to this showcase at the end. It's all in your third year, you get these showcases in front of agents, producers, industry people. And I was like, well, what if I just take the 3 years out of it and just give people the showcase? Yeah. And that's where it sort of started. So we started in the Canal Cafe in London. And it was great. I put the call out, but no one really applied.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but that was, again, look back now, and it's a good thing because I had 3 pieces that applied and I needed 4. So I was like, oh, maybe I need to write something.
Here we go. Yeah.
So I wrote something, and I'd never written before, ever.
Yeah.
So I wrote Netflix and Chill, which was all about your inner monologue when you go on dating, and what goes through the male monologue and the female monologue, and it was all done through voiceovers and not much speaking. So I did that, and obviously that will be referenced later because that becomes a bigger thing. So I did that, and then we sort of started doing more and more and more.
Can I just ask, in terms, so you say you put on these showcases, in terms of the people that did get involved in them, how long before the showcase happened? So you say, you build up normally in drama school for 3 years, which is a long time, a lot of investment. But your focus was helping people, get up and running quicker, essentially, and without that kind of financial need. So what was that timeline like for those people that got involved?
Well, how often did we do it? I think at first we did it every 3 months. So I'd put the call out for a month, tell people, and then have a month to rehearse, a bit longer, and then we would do it. But then we switched venues a lot because different venues, we couldn't pay anything. People were doing it out of the goodness of their heart. So we did a few venues, we did a few fundraisers and things like that, and that's when, and it started becoming really popular.
How did it feel on that first night when you did the first one?
It was amazing because, well, there was 2 things. One, I got my own writing debut. Great, and 2, obviously, this was happening as well. And it was just great to see the response. I'm trying to think what the capacity was. I think it was something like 60 to 80 people, which is great. Yeah. But, I drummed up so much response, and I felt like, even though, again, I had no marketing training in any way, shape or form, and I sort of...
You're just kind of doing it based on your passion.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And it's just Twitter seemed to that was the biggest place. That was where I really captured a lot, and a few Facebook groups and stuff. So, it just sort of grew from there. And that's when, after about a year of doing it in different venues, that's when I was like, I need some more. I need some money. I need some support, and I need a permanent home. Because what would happen is, obviously London's massive. Yeah. And I feel like once you build up a little cohort of people there, they're like, oh, we can't come to that one. And it's like, I need consistency
So true,
now.
yeah.
So you start, and I was like, I need consistency, I need money, I need help. And that's when I went to Spotlight, because Spotlight were good, still are kind of. And I felt like we as actors pay so much to them, and you can't be an actor really without Spotlight, which is obviously this online, if anyone doesn't know, register system that every single actor in the UK is on, and you can't
basically have to put yourself on that to get jobs.
It's the yellow pages of actors, basically.
Right. And it's still the same today.
Yeah. And you can't really be an actor without it, because everyone has to be on there. But there's also certain criteria for you to be on there as well, but we won't get into that. But every actor has to pay to be on this platform.
Again, it's really interesting, isn't it? How you have to pay to get. It's like paying to be on LinkedIn.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I know obviously there is memberships that you pay on, but like again, you wouldn't have to pay on LinkedIn to get a job. Something.
But it's not just paying. There's also 3 criteria for you to get on there. You have to be at that's why I don't know, because I don't know. I think it's changed.
Right.
But when I was there, you have to be either from accredited drama school or 3 professional credits.
Right.
But then, like, sometimes you can't
credits?
get one without the other.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it was really stacked. Again, it's stacked against people. So then I can't even remember how I found him, but I got the email of the CEO of Spotlight, and I emailed him. He was called Ben. And I said, you're not doing enough. And he was like, come for a meeting then. And I went for a meeting in the studios in Leicester Square. And we had just a chat, and I was just like, you're not doing enough. You're the biggest, there's so much money you're doing. You need to give back. And I'm willing for you to do that with me. And I was like, I want space. I need a little bit of money. I want to pay people. And he was like, fine, great. Okay.
Where did the confidence come from?
I don't know. I don't know. I literally don't know. I feel like I'm just so fed up of people that I feel like people need to be held accountable.
Yeah.
And back then I was a bit of gumption about me, and I was a bit like, yeah, cool, nothing can hurt me. Like, I'll just go to the CEO and ask for money and things like that. But I felt like, I didn't feel like that we deserved it. I just happened to be the person that asked for it.
Well, you
and I feel like
kind of believed it. You obviously believed what you were asking for as well. And you had people behind you, really, because of what you'd built so far as well.
And also, like, I obviously didn't go in there just as simple as that. I did have a pitch, and I was just like, you as an organisation need to give back to certain people, and, we can be that. And so we got our home in Leicester Square, and we were there for 3 years, I think. And we did it bi-monthly. We were the first ever scratch night to pay anyone in the UK.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, and we just promoted, obviously, working class actors, writers, directors, anyone who identified as that, really. And we brought industry people in. Like, we had a panel. Like, I'd bring in top casting directors, because obviously the name Spotlight, you get more weight behind you. Yeah. So it's now like, oh. And obviously I get help with their marketing team as well. So it just became bigger and bigger. And it was just great that we got like really well-known producers, casting directors, to then start giving feedback to these people.
And do you feel, have you seen anyone from Actor Awareness now that has gone on and like become...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's anyone famous. I don't think, but honestly, I still get mentioned to it now. So I used to work at the Royal Exchange Theatre, and there was a young girl who was in a play there, and we were on the front page of The Guardian together. But she was like just starting drama school, and I didn't even recognise her. She came up to me. She's like, "Are you Tom?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Actor Awareness." I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "You helped me in drama school, and we were on The Guardian together." I was like, "Oh my days, that is mad!" And I still get people like commenting about it now, and it was such a big thing for so long.
Yeah. Do you look back on it now and think that was big? Like,
yeah, 100%. And I'm proud of it, and it's one of my biggest achievements. And what I learned through it is so much more than that I think that drama school could have taught me, because I learned in real time.
Yeah.
I learned how to be a producer. I learned how to be a writer, a director. I had to step in at acting at one point, but that was my big thing. I never wanted to act in them. I never wanted to produce them or really write for them, because I didn't want it to be about me. I didn't want to start going, oh, it's the Tom show. It's not about that. It's about the people that come through.
Which is interesting, because obviously your original goal was to get into acting school to become an actor.
But I feel like in schools, they don't teach you any other thing. In drama, you're always taught to be an actor. You're never actually taught any of the others. I didn't know what a producer was. Yeah. And then I got told I was a producer. And I was like, oh, am I? I genuinely didn't
like that moment of like, what?
I didn't know that was a thing. I also didn't know how to get money. I didn't know how to write funding applications. I didn't know. No one taught me anything. It just happened. And people were like, oh yeah, you're really good at marketing. I was like, am I? I was like, I forgot that all these labels existed. And again, that I was a producer. I was like, I don't know what a producer is, but apparently I'm a producer. Great. Fantastic.
I think as well, what's interesting about that is you didn't realise you were doing these things because it was all just coming from heart.
Yeah.
Essentially, you were building this thing and supporting people.
I didn't know I was a CEO.
Yeah,
I was like, oh yeah, I'm a CEO of a company, and I was like, oh, that's mad. And because they were like, so you're the CEO of Actor Arena? So I was like, oh yeah, I am. Yeah. But I never saw that. And I never. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. It got my foot through doors because once you start mingling in those worlds, people start taking notice. And I was hired to be a producer to do a working class season from our plays, and our plays then we started going, oh, how can we get these 15-minute segments bigger? So we started offering we were lily pads essentially for new writing. And we started off as these 15-minute segments, and then we'd be like, right, who are the best 6 from that year? And we'd be like, right, we're going to contact those 6, give them time to finish them as full-length plays, and then we will produce a new writing festival in a fringe theatre. And then we were like, because once those scratch notes, I'm always like, what's next? And it's like, right, how do we get them from these little segments, these full-length plays to bigger and bigger and bigger? And we did that. And
how many plays came out of it, full one?
I'd say about 25 at least.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and some of them got put on.
Supporting those people's careers as well, and again, almost for them people that you helped, they then went on to become writers, producers. Yeah.
Some of them got put on in big venues. Some of them got put on in proper the Almeida, I think one hosted, and it's pretty cool.
And then in and amongst that as well, you also had the acting class.
Yes, the documentary.
Was a documentary which I watched, and again, just amazing. But that was released in 2017, so a couple of years after, in amongst, and that brought together leading UK actors Christopher Eccleston, Maxine Peake, Helen,
Julie House.
Helen. Is it Helen? No, Judy. Yeah, sorry,
yeah,
Julie.
Yeah.
But big kind of UK recognised actors. How did it fit? And the premise of it was again, challenging kind of classism within the acting industry, and you had these big names supporting you. How did it feel having this documentary that was almost reflecting kind of your life in a way, and your kind of what you'd built and created? Because there must have been such a moment.
Yeah, it was. I think, but it also came off my own back as well.
Yeah.
I wanted to do this documentary because I wanted to show, it was all well and good me combating it in the actor awareness sense, but actually I wanted to show it, the industry, for what it was, and basically hold up a mirror. So I put a call out online going, this is my premise. Does anyone interested in it? And then one company got back to me. They were quite a big company, but they wanted to really change the narrative of it, and they also wanted the big names, don't get me wrong, but they wanted to film it in a day. And I was like, nah, that doesn't work. And this is where quite proud of myself in some ways, because I've had my head turned by like big organisations before, but I feel like if it's not right, I didn't go there, and I went with a much smaller, which is obviously Inside Film. They came to me after about a year of me sort of like putting the feelers out, and I rejected this company.
Quite a while then.
And I was like, if this is going to be done, and I want it to be done like, and they were working class creatives as well. I wanted it to be done like, you follow me. And then from that, it sort of builds out.
Yeah.
And we filmed it for about a year, 18 months. And it took me, the thing with them, it took me a while to really open up, because even though it was off my back, and I gave it all to them, they completely produced it, they did everything. It took me ages to really open up, because I was always in my own head like, oh, what's people going to think? How's that going to come across? Blah, 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 about my life. And, and then it was towards the end of filming, we'd filmed like loads of amazing people, and we hadn't got Chris or Julie or Maxine at this point. And I knew it needed a bit of oomph. So I opened up about my past and my life and everything up until that point. And that's when I sort of got a bit of a second wind. And I was like, we need some big stars.
Yeah.
So again, I went on Twitter. Social media is great. You can just slip into people's DMs. So I messaged Maxine Peake. No, I messaged Julie.
Yeah.
Because Julie was in reach.
I love her.
She was great. And we interviewed Julie, and then Julie led us to Maxine, and Maxine led us to Chris. And in about a month, we got all three. And we were like, this is it.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's how it sort of started. That's how it happened. And
it's so interesting. Like, highly recommend anyone go watch it. Like, obviously, I'm not in the acting industry or career at all, but I found it like so fascinating, and just some of the things that you like really challenged in it. So one thing that like stuck out to me was like, I won't say the exact words, but like how what we see in TV and in acting kind of today has this effect to like impact society. And you've talked about this as well, like, how TV in the 80s during Thatcherism, that was like almost, it really showed like what was happening in society today. But then Maxine Peake challenges it in the documentary, where it's like we're showing all like Bridgerton and Downton at the time. And like that's not actually the reality that we're living like now.
no.
Do you feel like that's changed since the documentary?
No. Probably got worse, if anything.
Do you think?
I do think working class stories are being shown more, but I do think working class stories are always shown like back then. Like, look at the Peaky Blinders, like incredible series,
So
things like that.
yeah.
But that's working class stories that happened
Then.
years ago.
Yeah.
And House of Guinness I just watched House of Guinness on Netflix. Again, I mean, the two brothers are obviously, very wealthy, and it's a wealthy family, but you do show that working class culture and things like that. And there are incredible series that do show working class culture and working class stories, but it's always woe is me, what is, puddles and struggles and cobbles and miners, and which is fine, and those stories need to be shown, but I feel like not enough is shown on the modern working class story and things like that. And
like the reality now.
Yeah, and even like castings now, the industry is rife, especially theatre, with these celebrity castings. Like, where's the roles for the up and coming actors? And look, the TV industry and the film industry has grown massive since then.
TV massively.
Yeah, 100%. And those stories are being shown, and those roles are there, but not enough.
Do you think that can change?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But I think it's... if I had the solution, I'd be a millionaire. But the solution is people need to take risks more on those working class scripts, those stories, those things like that, and show different stuff, and not just bank on the Bridgertons, the Downtons, the Crown, and all that sort of stuff. They're great, but if you don't have a balance, and if you don't, like, how can you judge either side of it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I just found it fascinating. It was so on point, that point, because it's like we're showing all that, and then, you know, outside of the UK, that's then a perception of what the UK
Yeah,
almost is, and it's like, well, no, that's not the reality that
Yeah.
we're living.
But look, adolescence, that's just come to me.
Yeah,
and that is like the
that's
biggest
so
thing that's come out. And that does show working class.
Yeah.
Again, I know it has like a bit of woe is me about it, but it has so many complex things that actually that's the biggest thing to come out of the UK for a long time.
Yeah,
that
so
transcends to America. That it's not just Bridgerton, it's not just The Crown or, you know, posh whatever. It's those things have been shown now, I think, through adolescence. And look how well that did.
Yeah.
So take a punt on these sort of scripts because they're incredible.
Yeah, and challenge it, please. So in terms of, so obviously that happened 2017, actor awareness. How did kind of actor awareness come to a close? Like, what was the kind of timeline there?
It just came to a natural end,
Yeah.
I think. I think that I'd got other work going on. I'd got into a program manager position, so I realised that I was really good at shouting at organisations, but not much changed, I'm afraid. Like, I did really well to highlight it all, but actually, to make real change, you have to infiltrate organisations and make change from within.
That was going to be my question. Like, where are we now? Has there been much change? Do you think
I feel like I've made changes in organisations.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's changed dramatically.
Fundamentally.
But I do think that I'm in positions, that's why I work so heavily with young people,
Yeah.
is that I try and give opportunities that I may necessarily didn't have growing up, or I know that other people didn't have growing up. So that's when, and also organisations that took a punt on me, and I didn't have the so-called qualifications or the official, like actor awareness is my qualification.
Yeah.
Actor awareness is my bread and butter, and actor awareness was where I got my training in different departments. So when I was applying for jobs, that's it. And it wasn't even like, do you know what I mean? Like, it was a campaign. It was never like a fully fledged organisation. It was just me and Steph that sort of just put on new writing nights. It wasn't like a fully fledged organisation. It was just two people winging it as we go along. So
what do you feel that then almost taught you? But if someone's kind of listening to this story, what's like your advice? You know, if someone's like in that space where they're like, oh, I can't go down this route, whether it's because of finance, whether it's because of your circumstances in yourself, like, what would your kind of advice be based on what you learned during that time?
I think just resilience, and yes, money and finances 100% comes into it, but there are ways you just have to be determined. What I've learned in the industry is it's pretty much 5% talent, 95% grit, determination, luck, being in the right place at the right time. But you create your own luck, and if you try and get yourself in those rooms, and you try and get, again, it's the age-old thing. It's not what you know, it's who you know. It genuinely is true.
Yeah.
Like, it really is true. So get yourself in the rooms and get yourself talking to people. The amount of deals that I've done in smoking areas, like, it's mad. Like,
who's the most famous person you met in a smoking area?
Ian McKellen.
There we go.
I was like, oh yes, Ian
You're
McKellen.
like, who?
Yeah, Ian McKellen.
And that was a great one.
That was a good segue as well.
You're
I guess you made for it. I guess, yeah, I needed a little bit of money, and I was not successful or well equipped to fill out funding forms and applications. Didn't really understand it. So I was like, if I go through, like, I wouldn't say private sponsorship, but that's how I got Spotlight. That's how I got the funding. It was more through like individual organisations, because I have the gift of the gab to get it in person, where I can't translate it to a form or anything like that. I've got better now.
Yeah.
But it was like writing to individual people. Like, I remember writing to Helen Mirren and Ian McKellen, all those people, just to sort of like go, I know you've come from, Julie Walters was another one, is that I know you've come from working class backgrounds. I know you've come up through the rep system and all that sort of stuff. can you help me? And obviously none of them wrote back, but I knew Ian McKellen was going to be in an event that I'd been invited to. So I wrote a handwritten letter on the off chance I might see him. Well, this event was massive. And it was in Oxford, and he was doing this talk and this speech, and there was like hundreds of people there. And as it finished, everyone just swarmed to him. And I was just like, I've got no chance. So in a bit of a huff, I just went out for a fag. And yeah, he popped out. And I was like, oh my days. So
I would have died.
Yeah, and he asked me for a lighter. And I was like, yeah, sure, pal. Keeping it all like cool and stuff like that. And I just got chatting to him. I was just like, well done in there, like blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, can I have a little picture? Had a picture. And I was like, when do I give him this? Do I give him this letter? Do I do it? And I was just like, and he was like, thank you. And then he walked off, and I was like, oh, just before you go, look, you're from near me and you're from very similar backgrounds and things like that. I've written this handwritten letter. Read it, don't read it, whatever. I just want to know that I've given it to you. And he was like, oh, yeah, no worries, and took it. And then I've set up a GoFundMe at the time. And then, the next morning, £1,000 came into the account from an anonymous tip.
Wink.
But we know who, I knew who it was. Yeah. Because he left a little message in it as well.
But it's for all of that, it's like, it's you, knowing that he was going to be doing that event, but getting up and going to it, or getting up and putting yourself in a room where there's people that could have an impact on what you was doing. And it's just getting up.
Yeah. And just getting in the room, just get in the rooms, get chatting to people, get talking, like, it's just the best way to be. It's just be friendly to everyone, be nice to everyone, because you never know how much that person will impact you in the future. And there's loads of people that I've like known back in the day, and then will give me jobs or gave me jobs like months, years down the line because they remembered me at that event or whatever. So I think it's just trying to get in those rooms and trying to see as, the big thing at the moment is all these press nights and things like that. Try and get to press nights, because everyone is there that you'll need to speak to. I went to a press night the other week, got 2 jobs out of it.
Nice.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, just you go to these places, and then that's how it came. And then, obviously, then it came to a close. Yeah.
So it closed, and then was that when you kind of you came back up north?
I came back up north, but I did run it. I did run one night when I came back up north. The thing is, what I'm really disappointed about is that actor awareness in London was always the guinea pig for the North, because the North needed it the most. Yeah. And I was staying in London for years and years and years, and it was always going to be me honing my craft here so that I could make actor awareness the thing of the North.
Was that? I didn't know that. Was always the plan. That was always the plan, to actually bring it to the North.
That was always the plan. But I tried a couple of times to bring it to the North, but was sort of not run out of town, but sort of like warned off. They were just like, no, there's scratch nights here already. Like, we don't need this, we don't need you, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, am I seen as the big dog now? I was like, what? I was
we don't need you.
I was like, it just wasn't that. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe the North doesn't need it. They've got things like that anyway. But I started it. I did a night in Wigan. Yeah. And Julie was there and all that sort of stuff. And I got some support, and it was great. But I just sort of ran out of steam with it, to be honest. I just sort of was like, because that's when I was like, I need to infiltrate bigger organisations. Yeah, I need to make the change and give opportunity from there, because actor awareness is great, but I never paid myself for actor awareness, ever.
Wow. So you were working alongside doing that?
Yeah. I was working like crappy call centre jobs. I was working like little bits of producing here and there, but never like, I was always working minimum wage jobs alongside actor awareness. It never gave me a wage. And even if it did, I'd always pay Steph, who helped me first, and the actors, the writers, the directors, because they're the ones that would make it thrive. And I was skint as fuck, but
I was passionate about it. Exactly, and that passion like drove it. So how did it feel, kind of like closing
But I never said it's closed. It just happened.
Do you think it could ever come back?
Yeah, 100%. If there was need for it.
Do you feel there's need for it kind of now? Like, and we'll come on to obviously in full what you're doing now, but like one of the things that I feel again was kind of I think whether we talked about it or I've listened to it in something, is about kind of in schooling right now, like, you know, drama's falling out of the curriculum quite quickly. So it almost feels like there's more of a need now for things like actor awareness than there ever has been. Like, what are your thoughts in terms of that and just the impact that that's actually having?
I think it's tricky because with actor awareness, we were always seen as like new writing nights. We were always seen as that. And there's loads of that now. Like when we first started it, there wasn't any.
Right.
We were one of like the first before the boom happened of scratch nights. And I feel like if I was to bring actor awareness back, it'd have to be something different.
Yeah, okay.
Because that's already been done in various places in Manchester, London, across the country. We just tapped into a boom before it was a boom. So 100%. But then in my own head, and this isn't me shifting the blame, because I think actor awareness was great, but I'm also just like, organisations should be doing this.
Yeah,
like,
it shouldn't be down to
it shouldn't
like
be down
you
to
or
me who
another
can't even pay
individual.
myself. Why it should be down to the big local organisations to do that. Like I started in youth theatre. You know, I was in the Octagon Young Company. I was in, you know, I'd done stuff with the Royal Exchange, and I'm just like, and then, of course, actor awareness could come back. But I'm also just like, well, the organisation's got the money. I haven't got any money.
Yeah.
They should be the one taking up them.
Scratch again, essentially. Yeah. But like you say, it should be them that's actually investing into it.
100%. It's always, and it always should have been that. And like, there's been times where I've been to conferences before where we've done these working class conversations and committees, and they say and they commit to it, and they never do anything. And it takes years for one action to be done. And I'm so fed up of it that these. And I think that the big issue is when you talk about class, and what I've been told so many times is there's so many different avenues of class. It's not as simple as upper class, middle class, working class,
especially now in
class.
today, like in today's world.
It's so much more complicated and convoluted, and like, what is working class now? What is middle class? Like, as the economy gets tighter and tighter, people get dragged into that. And actually, the middle classes and working classes have never been closer. So then it's just like, so how can you say that anymore? Because majority of people are probably now working class. It's tricky. It's a tricky time. And it's like, I can't just go, oh, I'm for working class talent, which of course I am.
Yeah.
But then how do you say that anymore?
Yeah.
Because,
and what does that actually look like in reality if you were to start something similar?
Yeah.
What does that actually look like?
Yeah, definitely. And I could just be like, okay, well, we'll just do new writing nights. But you just, it's just tricky.
Yeah.
It's really tricky.
So let's like come to like where you are now. So you back in Manchester, you moved back during lockdown, and you were starting afresh. Yeah,
it was fresh. It was like when we moved back, it was 2020, and the plan was, again, not even just actor awareness, but me was never to stay down south. It was always like, I'm gonna come back up north someday, because love the north.
We do. I was the same. Lived in London for 8 years, and the plan was you've always. I think you
get drawn back home. Of course it is.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that sort of like drew me back, and moved back as London was going out of lockdown. We were going into lockdown, and that was quite mad. And I feel like that time was emotional for everyone. And just before lockdown, I'd written my play, Netflix and Chill, and it got, I made it into this full-length show, and got nominated for a couple of awards, and it was great. And I got the buzz of this writing, and I was like, oh my God, I can write. And I'd done little bits before. Again, I've written like a sketch show, and then I was like, oh no, maybe I want to, again, challenging myself to be better, because, you know, I had some success doing some acting, but I've always told everyone, don't wait for the phone for your agent, make your own work, make your own work. So that was always in my mind, that I needed to create my own work. So I wrote Netflix and Chill, and we had a great run in London, but literally the 3 days before it closed, lockdown happened. So you just get all that momentum, and it just gets sucked out. And also, I'm just like, I don't want to write a new show. I want to carry on
With this one.
But I couldn't do that, and it sort of like took the wind out of my sails a little bit. So I was like, is there any way of writing short form? So my mate Matt was a poet called The Thirsty Poet, and I'd listened to his stuff, and I'd listened to a few. I hated poetry growing up, like with a passion. Still do a little bit.
Don't tell anyone. No.
No, I don't. No, I love it. But I genuinely hated it because
you said
it was always
like artsy fartsy type stuff, and
I wasn't all like Shakespeare. I wasn't into sort of like old poetry, and I'd seen him do it, and I'd seen John Cooper Clarke, I've seen Arcade, and I'd seen J.B. Barrington, and I was like, oh, poetry can be done in a northern voice rather than posh voices and stuff like that. That's mint. Oh, you can talk about mental health. Oh, you can talk about this. You can talk about that. You can do poetry about sunglasses. Like, that's so stupid. Like, that's great.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is really interesting. So I started doing a little bit in lockdown and just sort of like getting thoughts off my chest and started putting little bits of content online. And yeah, that's sort of like how it started. And I guess from that, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed writing short form. And then I wrote a short play called On the Streets of COVID, which was, there was a competition by the Royal Exchange. They wanted like short plays. So I found this obviously new way of writing. So I wrote a short play, which was like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, but all done in spoken word and rhyme and stuff like that. And I won an award for that. And I was like, mint, I'm a poet now. So
I'm going to be finding myself here.
Yeah, I was like, what am I doing? I'm a poet, great. So my mate was like, as the lockdown was coming out, and I put a few things online, he was like, you need to gig live.
Yeah.
So I did that. I started going out and really just sort of like honing what my voice is, because the thing with acting is you can hide behind a character.
Yeah.
Poetry.
No, that's all.
Even though I call myself the Chubby Northerner.
Yeah. When was that born, by the way? When did that actually?
The Chubby Northerner. Should I admit to this on camera? Why not? Yes. I used to get agents' emails, specific agents, because you don't want to write the info at. And I was like, you have to stand out to these, because they get hundreds of emails a day. So I used to put in the subject line, the Chubby Northerner. That's how I used to get, and the amount of responses I got was ridiculous, because if you saw the Chubby,
you would open
it was like a Chubby Northerner. It was not it was a Chubby Northerner.
Yeah,
you see that, and you're like, what is that?
Yeah,
open
absolutely.
it straight away.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I got an agent out of it actually. So that's where that came from, and then I'd seen like our kid, the Thirsty Poet, and I was like, and because I'd worked with young people, and because I still worked, I really wanted my poetry life and my acts, I still did acting then, and all my other stuff to be very separate. So Tom was obviously my acting name, but I was like, the Chubby Northerner, that could be my character, that could be my thing that can really set me apart. So, and because I spoke a lot about male body positivity, mental health and things like that, I really leaned into it. And obviously it's memorable. So you know, when you get announced as the Chubby Northerner on poetry nights, they don't remember Tom, they remember the Chubby Northerner.
Yeah.
So I just knew and I knew that I needed to become a bit of a brand. So that's where that came from, and like people resonating with my look, like with the glasses and the cap and the different caps and the boots and all that sort of stuff, that I knew I had to sort of become a character, but my voice was very raw about what I speak about. Yeah,
and it's so interesting because, like, coming back to like what you were saying before about how you you've learned things, you became a CEO, you became a producer. Like, marketing almost feels like it's in your blood.
Apparently, yeah.
Like, you know, that in itself, like, I needed to brand myself to be able to kind of further push that. And like some of the activities that you've done, which we'll talk about in a minute, in order to get the brand out there, are like, really smart guerrilla-like marketing tactics, which you doing like even like the thing right at the start where you're like putting your signs up and getting people. That's like at the time when you did that, that was like really smart marketing as a I'm in marketing, but it's just so clever how you're like doing these different things in order to get your brand out there and moving.
The original influencers, maybe.
Yeah, there you go. But anyway, sorry, I like cut off, but I just think it is like you creating these viral activities that are helping you kind of move what again is such like the poetry that you're doing, like the way that you're talking are big like areas to discuss. You know, you talked about homelessness, about male positivity, about depression, you know, your childhood, like the big topics that you kind of continuing to challenge as well within what you're doing, and it's impressive. But how does it feel like when you're doing it, like when you're creating these different poems and like when you're where is it kind of coming from, do you think?
I don't know, like I get bored really easily with things. Like obviously I did the acting, then I did producing, and then I've even done like podcasting. I try and dip my toe in loads of things because I'm always like, well, I've always been told from a young age, like have as many strings to your bow as possible. And I learned that very quickly, that you have to be an actor, you have to be a producer, you have to be a writer, you have to be a marketer, a podcaster, everything. And you just sort of fling shit and see what sticks, right?
Yeah. Pretty much,
yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
And
now.
poetry stuck, it's great. So yeah, I just started doing that. And I was just really aware that there's also a load of poets out there.
Yeah.
Like, so how do I
stand out.
Myself, stand out? And the male body positivity thing was the real thing that stood out to a lot of people because no one speaks about it, especially like openly anyway. And I feel like female body positivity has come on so much, leaps and bounds. You look back at the 90s and the magazines and things like that, and you see now, and you see like the Dove campaign and Victoria's Secret, who are, you know, all that sort of stuff is like so progressive. But I feel like male body positivity does not get spoken about really at all.
Yeah.
Especially not when I first started out anyway. So I was sort of like really big on making sure that's how I come across. And also, I think that, so when I first came out of lockdown, Man City got in the Champions League final and I wrote a poem for BT Sport and that went viral and it was like mint. And I was like, oh my God, that's such a big thing. And I knew how to write for the mainstream.
Yeah.
But I knew that when I was at poetry nights, mainstream stuff doesn't really go down that well.
Right. Why do you think that is?
I think because people open up their hearts in poetry. And I opened up my heart, obviously, in lockdown and things like that. But I knew very quickly that, I mean, it's really sad. As a working class creative, you can't just have hobbies. You have to make money out of your hobbies.
Yeah,
and
it is.
And it pisses me off that I can't just be a poet. I have to make money out of it.
Yeah.
Or like when I did my podcasting, like I couldn't just do that as a hobby. I had to make money out of it. Acting can't just be a hobby. I've got to make money out of it. So it just came to that point where I was like, right, well, this is sticking now. I'm going to have to make some money out of it.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm still on working class, minimum wage jobs. Like I have to have side hustles. We all have to have side hustles. And this just became my new side hustle. So I knew that I had to start speaking more from my heart rather than writing about bins and B&M and all that sort of stuff. So that's when I started like really opening up about my own mental health struggles, my own body positivity struggles. And
which is a really like brave thing to do, like in a sense of, like you say, like, and I agree, like I think, you know, as a woman, like I think we have come a long way. I think there's still a long way to go.
100%.
But I do genuinely worry about men as well in society today, because I do, you know, the mental health epidemic within men is really terrifying when you see like some of the statistics, and I've not got them, but you know, read them. So I think for you to be able to talk out about that is really brave. And you you know, it must be quite scary as well, or it must have been scary when you were first doing
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
How do you feel like people have reacted to that?
Amazingly, like genuinely, like the response has been phenomenal. Like, especially about the poem that I do about male mental health. Like I wrote that, 3 years ago, and I still perform it all the time now because people still want it.
Yeah.
And it still needs to be spoken about.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's, and obviously I know the line in terms of like, I have to write certain things for certain organizations, companies, but then I still keep the stuff for me to open up every now and again, because I know that I need to do that. And obviously when I wrote my book and all that sort of stuff about Northern like nostalgia and upbringings and all that sort of stuff, and I'm writing a new show now that you can't just have a book of surface level poetry.
Yeah.
You have to have some stuff in there because people want to know you and what's underneath.
Yeah, and it's got a meaning. It's got to like connect. Yeah. Because that's when it's raw and when it's real is when people listen.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think some of the things, so to talk more about kind of, you know, some of the activities that you are doing now. So I don't know if activity is the right word, but I'm going for it. So you are like fully freelance now. And as you say, like you are building a career.
I'm a full-time poet.
Yeah.
That's mad.
So cool. But like, so some of the things you're doing now, so Pavement poetry, which actually started as scrolls, didn't it?
Yeah,
and that's this is how I found out about you.
Yeah.
So I actually saw one of your poems on Pavement and was like, who is, and literally caught me in my tracks and thought it was amazing, followed you and following your sittings. But that actually started as scrolls, didn't it?
Yeah.
So you just started writing your poems out and just leaving them around.
I think that I've learned, and what I saw with poetry is I took myself back and why I hated poetry.
Yeah.
And why I still have that conflicting thing with poetry, because I love writing it and I love watching it. I don't necessarily love reading it.
Yeah.
I don't love every bit of poetry. There's specific types of poetry that I really like. And that's like with everything. But what I've learned, especially because I live in Wigan now, and I live in like, again, back in like working class communities and things like that, and I've taught so much in schools now, is that people from working class backgrounds still don't think that literature is for them. And I felt like that. So, and how that all came about as well is we're in such a divisive world at the moment. And I started doing the scrolls around the last election, and I was doing a lot of angry poetry, a lot of like call to arms poetry, but very much political. And I was just so angry all the time. I was like really angry and really down all the time, and just sort of like, you know, constantly campaigning, constantly just like speaking out and whatever. And I was just like, God, I need to like just shut up and take a break a minute.
I bet that was quite draining.
It's quite consuming. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. But I also knew that it'd get the clicks. So that's, you know what gets the clicks and things like that. And if you could, not controversial, but if you speak out against one thing, you're going to get a backlash from the other.
And then the trolling comes.
100%. 100%. So I guess that's how it started, is that I was like, I just sort of sat down one day and was just like, how can I be a bit more positive, but also bring the everyday person into poetry? Because I am convinced, with my own ego, whatever, that I can go into any pub in the UK and I can make people like poetry. Because that's just the way that with the subjects that I speak about or whatever, I feel like I've gone into so many places, people tell me they hate poetry, and by the end of a set of mine or the end of a lesson of mine, they'll like poetry a lot more. So I was like, how do I do this on a bigger scale? So I don't know why I thought about like just like the notes you used to pass in class, like the stupid little things that you'd write and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, what if I could do that on like a bigger scale? So I started writing these positive poems and rolling them up in like coloured card and leaving them on buses, trains, like cafes, pubs, restaurants, all that sort of stuff, benches, just where people can sort of like, who might be having a bit of a tough day, can sort of sit, pick it up and like cheer them up. And it was great. It went really big. And I did it for 100 days. And then on the 100th day, I did 100 scrolls where I'd leave them around Manchester. But my inbox just went mental. Like the amount of people that wrote in and told me about like really some like tough stuff.
Did you wait and watch them unravel them? So you just left them
just
as
left
well?
them. I did a couple of
love
times.
That. I mean, it's similar to your pavement poetry as well, isn't it? You just write it down and then you leave it. But like the fact that people are then reaching out to you.
Pervy, isn't it? You're just like watching someone like, oh yeah, go on, open my poem, let me see your reaction.
Yeah, true.
Like it's horrible, isn't it? But I did a couple of times. There was one, because I knew I had to get some content out of it.
Yeah.
I did used to sort of slyly film people, not them reading it, just sort of like
Finding
you can see because you can use that as like the thing.
Yeah.
And there'd be a couple of times where I knew it was a busy train, so I'd leave one like across from me on the train. And there was one guy, I remember I was on the phone to my dad, and he'd found it. He's quite a rough-looking guy, and because obviously it has my handle at the bottom of it, people can find it's me quite quickly.
Yeah.
He typed me in and he was like, "Is this you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "I've just come back from a brain scan. And this is just like absolutely." And then we got into a really big conversation about mental health and poetry and about how he nearly took his life. And I was like, wow, that's like crazy that those conversations can open up. And obviously those sort of conversations will come back to a later project. And that I just started speaking to people in like their DMs and like people getting over grief and finding them in like these tough times. And we're really lovely enough to open up to me, either in person or obviously in Instagram or TikTok or whatever. But I also felt a bit weird because I'm just like, I'm not a therapist.
Yeah.
It's also that fine line of just, I want to spread some positivity, but it's where to cut off the line of going, I can't give you advice. I've just brightened up your day. So I had to start setting some boundaries in place as well.
I've never thought about it like that because it makes total sense.
Yeah,
like,
and look, this guy, me and this guy had a wonderful conversation, but there has been times where it's gone a bit like, not far, but people are just like, well, what should I do? It's like, oh, I don't know, mate. Yeah. I'm just a poet.
Yeah, but I guess the best thing, almost the best and the beautiful thing is like them being able to talk, even if it is talking to you, and that you might be the first person that they've actually talked to about that because you've given something in that moment. And even you being able to go, I recommend you getting advice, like that in itself is like such a powerful thing that you've been a part of and been able to support.
And it's an honour that people feel so comfortable enough with me to open up like that.
Yeah.
Like, it means I've done something right, but also it's like, I'm also not the person that you need to speak to. You probably need to speak to grief counsellors or mental health counsellors or whatever. So yeah, did that. And then got bored of that. Also cost me a bomb in printing. Like, and then I used to use my old workplace because they had like industrial printers. So I'd be like, bam, 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 bam.
Get caught.
Yeah. No, not that. It was more like, and also it took ages to roll them. Yeah. Like when you, imagine how long it takes to roll 100 scrolls. Yeah, quite well. Like it's mad. So the amount of like...
Imagine if you would have like tea stained them and stuff like that. You remember like old school?
Yeah.
That would have took a while, but you did.
But also they don't pop as much as like bright card.
Yeah, that's true. They do pop well.
So, also they'd be gutting when I put them on trains and you'd see the train guy come down with his little litter picker and just put them all in the bin. And obviously I can't let him know it's me because obviously I get told off. And I'm just there just like, right, I just put in 50 scrolls in the bin that I've taken hours to roll, but fine, whatever. Actually, I went not famous, but like I was very well known within Northern Rail.
Really?
Because a train driver came up to me one day and he caught me rolling the scrolls. And he was like, "Oh my God, is this you?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's me." And he was like, "No, look at this." And he showed me there was a Northern Rail WhatsApp group.
Oh my God.
And he just did this, and it was just all the train drivers and train staff just like seeing all of my scrolls and all of like the lovely messages. And this one guy was like, "I'm just going through divorce recently, like, so your poetry resonated with me, like, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, that's pretty good
And that's
stuff.
the thing, like, it feels like with your scrolls, and then you moved on to your pavement poetry, which is, you know, writing your poems across the streets of Manchester and Wigan, and it feels like you are touching so many lives, but you've got no idea how big that is.
No, not at
actually,
all.
none.
The amount of people, like when I've gone onto the Pavement poetry, that would obviously message and whatever, but there was even a time when I would do them and people would come up to me and stop me. I actually remember this young lad, I was doing it in Northern Quarter, and I just saw this phone screen get shoved in my face. But it had a message on it, and he was like, "You have no idea how much this saved me," and then just walked off. I don't know who he is. He was just a young lad. He was probably no older than 16, 17. And I was just like, oh my days. Whoa. But the amount of people, again, who like would see me do it. And like, look, when I first started out, I'd go up at like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to be seen doing it.
Yeah.
And it's nerve-wracking doing it. Because also people think you're just graffitiing. But obviously it's chalk pen, so it does wash off. But it's hard to explain that. But I was like, I'm not getting up at 5 a.m. every day to do this. This is ridiculous. So I just do it. I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to do it while people are walking past me.
Yeah.
And that was the best thing I did, because people then speak to you and open up to you and things like that. And it's really lovely. So yeah, and then I did that. And then the weather changed. So I changed to poetry.
Changed tact. Yeah. So, and I guess, so now you're doing poetry, which is going up to people just in parks, in the streets, and asking them if you can read them a poem, essentially.
Yeah.
And you can tell, and you're sharing these on social so people can go and see. You can tell, it's so interesting, like how guarded people are
100%.
at first. And
I would be if someone came up to me in the street.
Yeah, true. Which is quite, it's sad in a way, but obviously, it makes sense. But then you can see them in the video, like, start to soften. So tell us a bit more about kind of where's that idea come from and how that's feeling right now.
I think it's just like, again, changing that perception of poetry.
Yeah. And
into another way.
Positivity though. I feel like the beautiful thing about it is it's again coming from a place of heart, and you're just wanting to spread a bit of positivity in the world.
100%.
Which is so needed right now.
But there's a guy called Mug of Life, and he's incredible. He's a filmmaker, and he just interviews people on benches, again, everyday people. And I love it. And I'm just like, what we are missing in society at the moment is human connection. We speak to each other through screens. Everything's through a screen, that we actually just miss human connection and conversation and things like that. And I'm fed up of my feed filled up with celebrities and all that sort of stuff, that actually the best people in life are everyday people, because everyone has a story.
Yeah.
And what you're willing to share is like the best thing, whether it's photography, whether it's mental health or whatever. Like everyone's got a story to tell. Like every single person in the world has something to
Couldn't
say.
agree more.
And I'm just like, how can poetry bring that out in people? And there's a certain poem I know gets a reaction out of people because it was the biggest hit in the Scrolls, the biggest hit in the Pavement poetry, and the biggest hit in the poetry thing, because there's a certain poem that I know gets, because it's worded in such a way that I know will resonate with people. So yeah, I just sort of, and it takes some bollocks to do, trust me.
Like, literally, but also, like, I mean, some of the stories that are coming out, like, I don't even know how you're doing it. Like, some of the stories,
I don't know.
They're just so emotional.
Yeah.
Like, the one that sticks out for me is Bless, the couple that you sat with, and he just got that bad news.
Yeah.
And oh my God.
That was the second interview I ever did.
Oh,
I mean,
it just broke me. Must have
people
broke
don't
you.
see, people don't see the nose either. Like, there's so many people that reject you and quite vigorously reject you.
Yeah.
You're
like running the opposite.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But also some people that are just like, no, not today, and whatever. And obviously I started with the young lad, which was really lovely. And then I moved obviously to the park, and then found George and Madeline, who told me about their cancer, and he'd literally just come out of his diagnosis, and within 2 minutes saw me. And stayed with me. Like, that is mad that you've just found that out, and I'm shoving a camera in your face. I'm surprised anybody bite my head off.
I know.
But the fact that just shows how beautiful humans they are, that they were just like, yeah, let's
Willing
go and
to
have
give
a little
you time on like one of the worst
days ever.
Yeah.
And then we sat down, and obviously I read them the poem, and it resonated, and it took him, he didn't want to share it, but I didn't say it. Silence is the key in interviews.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if it gets too awkward, then I'll just go in. But I think it really, I don't know, I guess I've got good people skills. And I think he just opened up at that point, and it was fine. And obviously I was really, at the end, I was like, do you mind this going online and things like that? And I think he did, but obviously at that point I didn't have that many followers either, by the way.
Yeah.
Like I had a following, but not since that video. It's gone way more, doubled. But I don't think he knew, and they knew, how big that video was going to be, because I think it's on like 500,000 views now.
Amazing.
I'm in regular contact with them.
Are you?
Yeah. Because how can I not be?
No, I know. Yeah.
But his daughter messaged me. So he downloaded TikTok just to speak to me.
Brilliant.
But his daughter, Steph, messaged me, and she works in the local TUI. And I popped in one day, and I was just like, please, like, and we just had the biggest hug. And she was like, you've no idea what you've done for my dad.
Yeah.
And he said that there's like so many old friends have popped up to speak to him and wish them well, and people in like Australia that they've not spoke to in years, and it's just like really lovely. And we're going to do a part 2 at some point. He said that let's come and I want to read you the teabag poem. I said I don't want to film. I like, if you want to film it, fine, but I just want to. I'm sort of like in your life now.
Yeah. Yeah, I've adopted you now.
Yeah.
How does it feel? Like how does kind of doing that feel to you? Because obviously, like, you know, the reality is you are making a career out of this. But like those moments, like what does it feel like in the moment?
I don't know what it feels like. It feels, I think I'm just really respectful. Like I don't get over emotional in those, because if you get over emotional in those situations, then it's just gone.
Yeah.
Like then what's going to happen?
Yeah.
I just try and make sure that I'm calm, make sure that whatever happens, and just let them tell their story. I suppose like any good interviewer, right?
Yeah.
And that I really don't, rightly or wrongly, I try not to get emotionally attached to it, because they reveal these beautiful stories. But then I'm going to have to be bloody WhatsApping all these people.
I know, yeah. Well, you've got, got two new grandparents now.
They're different. No. But I think that I just want to tell people's stories. And what made me want to do it actually was the third or fourth guy who was building the thing for his mum who just recently died. Yeah. I saw that at my dog walk and was like, I need to find that guy because I'd love to speak to him. And that's how the poetry thing came about, really. Because like, I wonder how I could like interview people and things like that. And I think that's it. Is I'm just really grateful that people want to speak to me.
Yeah, yeah.
And it gives me faith in humanity, even though I'm not a religious person, but it does give me faith in humanity that people do still want to speak to people face to face. And that, I guess, with my people skills, I can get that out of them and they can speak to me. And the amount of people that say that they're just like, obviously they're just brightening up their day. And, you know, you see the camera, but actually I sit there for ages speaking to these people. Yeah. Because sometimes they just want to speak to people.
And I think that's it. And I think, like, I completely agree in terms of, like, humanity and human connection. I do think we do crave that massively now. And I think, you know, you're proving that if you actually just strike up a conversation, people do just want to talk. And like you say, people sit there for longer than what you see in the videos and they'll stay.
Also, I don't just look for like depressing people.
No,
either.
Of course you don't.
That's the thing.
No,
I always, honestly, it is literally luck of the draw, because 10 people tell me no before that, and the people that say yes, it's just luck of the draw. Like, there's no tact to it. There's no like, oh, I think they're sat on a park bench alone crying, I'm going to go and interview them. That's not happened.
No.
It's just whoever walks in the park. Yeah. And I'm there. Yeah. Or whoever is, it's literally just luck of the draw. Yeah. So it's not even like I'm targeting these people, but it just proves that everyone has a story.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. So, you're doing, so you've done your scrolls, you've done your pavement poetry, you do poetry. You're supporting children in schools and helping them with poetry and kind of drama. What's the goal? What's the vision?
There isn't one.
No.
I've never, I'm obviously ambitious, but there's no set goal. The set goal was to be an actor.
Yeah.
Did that.
Yeah.
The set goal is to help people.
Yeah.
And whether that's through producing, whether that's through creating the community idea with actor awareness, whether that's through poetry, there isn't I'm going to be this, because I feel like the biggest thing, what happens when you reach your goal? Then you really suffer.
Yeah.
Because once you've reached the peak, then you start going, oh, well, I can never better that. And I don't think, for me, it's never bettering it. It's always okay, well, what can I do different now? What's next? Who knows, next year I'll be a singing plumber. I don't know. That's what I mean. I've gone through so many different stages of acting, writing, directing, producing, podcasting, poetry. And poetry seems to be one that has stuck. That seems to be the one that I do feel the most passionate about, because it combines all of my skills into one: performing, writing, producing,
teaching, guiding, connecting.
And it means that I work in so many schools now that it should also, I'm doing a project at the moment, second year of it. The first year was how can creative writing and poetry help young people with their mental health? And what I've learned is exactly the same as me, and it's still going on to this day. I who likes poetry, and none of them put their hand up. And I'm okay, name me a poet. It's always William Shakespeare.
Yeah.
So actually, you don't hate poetry, you just hate Shakespeare.
Yeah. Yeah.
Join the club, me too. And I teach Shakespeare now, but through spoken word. Because he was a poet, and it's also about looking at different things and through different lenses. Is that okay? You might hate Shakespeare, but that's because it's not taught to you in the right way. The curriculum is stacked against you. Is that what was Shakespeare? He was a poet. You would never read a Taylor Swift lyric or a Sabrina Carpenter lyric. So why the hell in schools do we have to just read Shakespeare? You have to listen to it. You have to watch it, because once you listen and watch it, that's when it comes to life a bit more. So that's the way I teach Shakespeare now, and through poetry, is to stop reading poetry. It's there to be listened to. And yes, we can read it, don't get me wrong, but balance the scales. It's not all just one thing. Let's do it all different ways. And my teaching style is very off the cuff and different. Is that when I go into schools, teachers are what? I didn't know you could do that. And I was yeah.
Love that. Love it. No, but again, you're almost you're it comes back to actor awareness of kind of challenging a curriculum, essentially, because you're saying, no, you can teach it in this way. And that's exciting for kids, and you want them to be excited about that. And being able to kind of influence children at a young age and help them get excited about literature and poetry is, again, I'm sure, extremely rewarding. Being able to kind of do it in that space.
But also, it's mad to me now that I've gone full-time freelance, in actually how much poetry you can shoehorn in anything. It's mad.
Here?
It is.
Well, the one that I'm so gutted I couldn't come because I was in London, but your poetry with the orchestra.
Oh, yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
How did it actually go? I've seen the video.
No, it was really good. And it was, again, they approached me and they were they want to put, again, classical music has a stigma, same with poetry. So they were how do they want to put classical music in different forms to sort of make it more accessible? So they did it in skate parks. So they did a pop-up performance in every borough in Greater Manchester, from skate parks to libraries to whatever. And they approached me and were how about poetry? I was just to warn you, my poetry is not poetry, artsy-fartsy poetry that goes with classical music. And they're no, we know.
Nice.
And I was okay, as long as you're ready, that's fine. I've got a poem back called 50 Shades of Greg's, for God's sake. And they had to do an underscore to that, which was very fun.
Are you doing another one?
Well, that was just a one-off performance.
Are you gonna?
Well, I don't know because I didn't know until the end. The CEO of the Camerata Orchestra was there.
What?
And he was like, mate, that was like unreal. And I was like, thank you. And I was like, well, let's do it again sometime. So I don't know. It was only a few weeks ago. So you never know what happens. You know, you put yourself on the map and you never know what happens with these sort of things. But that's what I mean. I did it with an orchestra. I've done like, you know, I've set up a magnet fishing group recent, like in a few weeks to sort of like pluck things out of the canal, and we're going to make it into like storytelling and poetry and like create an exhibition out of it, which is great.
Really,
and again, like I'm doing the light switch on for Lee soon, and I'm writing a poem for their light switch on, but also
for Christmas.
For Christmas.
Oh, we'll have to come to that. We're around.
Yeah, it's the 15th of November.
Right.
But on Tuesday, oh really? That's fine. On Tuesday, I've got to go door-to-door knocking on a street in Lee and write a poem with people on their front doorstep to turn them into poetry light boxes that are going to be part of the parade. Is
that the one? Yeah, I saw that on your social. That's so cool.
So that'll be quite cool. But I'm also, again, I'm not a massive lover of these flash-in-the-pan projects. So I was like, how do you make a legacy out of it? So I'm going to invite, I was like, how many people know your neighbour? Do you know your neighbour? Do you know your neighbour's name? No. So I'm going to invite all these people to the local social club and we'll have a chippy tea to sort of like introduce their neighbours and hopefully have a little bit of a chat. Because again, that's sort of like human connection.
Yeah,
and then we'll write some poetry together. And hopefully they'll stand on their doorstep and they'll hold like poetry placards as well as the light boxes as well. Amazing. So trust me, you can shoehorn poetry into anything.
I mean, you're smashing it. For anyone that's kind of listening now, like kind of, and has listened to this podcast and like reflecting on your story, like what would your advice be? You know, you have been trolled, you've kind of been downtrodden, but you've also like really been celebrated and commissioned as well through your career. What would you like someone to like take away from this conversation, and what would your advice be for someone that maybe is not feeling there yet?
I feel like if you want it, you have to try and get it and think outside the box. So, you know, I was priced out of the industry, but I came up with a solution for it because I sort of like was like, okay, well, if you're gonna not let me through that door, I'll go through this door or I'll go through the back door and all that sort of stuff. So I feel like if you really want something and you want a career, or whether that's creatively or whatever, you don't just give up at the first no, because I see it now in this generation. I don't know what's happened since lockdown, but I feel like resilience has gone. Yeah. People give up after one no. And I feel like we have to reteach ourselves resilience. Yeah. Because if you're going to have thick skin, you have to graft, you have to have thick skin. And just because you get taken a knock back, you have to go again. We have to go again. And you have to think about how you can get that in a different way. You can't just give up.
I feel like it's going to actually I almost feel like people have got lazy, but I feel like it's going to get 10 times harder.
Oh, 100%.
With like AI. Yeah.
Hey, look, I use AI now.
Yeah.
Hey, I couldn't fill out forms before, but I'll tell you what, I can now.
Yeah. Well, happy days. But I just thought that then when you said that, and I was like, it's actually about to get 10 times harder for people, and people are going to have to graft harder than ever to be able to get in the rooms, to be able to get jobs, to be able to survive in a way.
The amount of schools I go into now, and I can see it. I can see it creeping in. And I've asked people to write poetry before, and they'll get the phone out and they'll try and type it into AI. I'm wised up now because I did a challenge once online of poetry versus AI, and if people could tell the difference between me writing a poem and AI writing a poem. Weirdly, people couldn't tell the difference, which really annoyed me. But anyway.
You know.
Yeah, I know. But there's certain words that AI always tries to shove into poetry that I can tell. And I can tell these young people doing it. And I tell them off and I'm just like, think for yourself. Yeah. Please think for yourself. Yeah. Like, we're so reliant on technology now. And look, technology is great when used the right way. I wouldn't be here now without technology and social media and things like that. But we have to think for ourselves. We really do. because once you start thinking for yourself, you can be easily manipulated, and also creativity goes as well and things like that. So we have to, please just think for yourself.
Think for yourself and go and talk to someone.
Yeah.
Please.
Come talk to me on camera over a cup of tea.
Yeah, literally. I've got some quick fire questions.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if you don't want to answer one, just say pass. But
Okay.
I'm hoping you'll be all right. What's one line of poetry you wish everyone could read on a rainy day? It's not that quick, is it?
No. Someone somewhere always smiles at the thought of you, so never forget how incredible you are.
Oh, who's that?
Me.
Well done.
I don't remember anyone else's poetry. Got enough of my own to remember.
What's your favourite place to have a cuppa?
Cowers Coffee in Wigan.
Okay, I'll put the link. Thank
Shout
you.
out.
If you could chalk one message that stays across the streets of Manchester forever, what would it be? Or is it the one we've just said?
No.
And it has to stay. It'll stay forever.
The one that I read out to everyone. It's a bit of a longer poem. It's not long, but it's the shorter version, if I can remember it. It's like, in case nobody's told you lately, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for pushing through. Proud of everything you've gone through. And despite all that, you're still here. So wipe away those tears, brush away those fears, because it is time to change gear. Look at you, stood there, big, bold and beautiful. People keep underestimating you, not realising you are immovable. You are so much stronger than you give yourself credit for. You've come out of what feels like a war. Stop doubting, come out of the darkness and into the light. Don't give up that fight. This is your new debut, because guess what? I believe in you. Thank you. But there is a shorter version that I do write on the pavements. I can't remember the shorter version.
I mean, amazing. And that should stay on the streets of Manchester.
Yeah. That's probably the most successful positive poem.
Yeah, I can see
That's
that.
the one that sparks people's reactions.
Hits, yeah. And that's like even me then, I was like, okay. And I'm an emotional wreck. So, what's one word that sums up the North to you?
Hopeful.
Oh, hopeful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What's one joy you couldn't live without?
My dog.
Your dog? What's your dog called?
Bella.
Bella.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Bella. Hi, Bella. If you could have a cuppa with anyone, living or gone, who would it be?
Oof. My two idols growing up was Lee Evans and David Jason. I've met Lee Evans.
Have you?
Yeah, I don't get starstruck even with Ian McKellen, I didn't get starstruck. But Lee Evans, I absolutely love him, and I knew he was I watched him in a play in the West End, and I was a little sucker and waited outside the stage door for him.
Yeah, you did.
Because I'd seen him live like 3 times, and I love him. And yeah, I had waited for him.
What's he like?
Oh, he's amazing.
Yeah.
So I'd love to have a cup with him and David Jason, because he's my idol as well. I love him.
Oh, what did Lee Evans say to you?
I can't remember. I was just a blur. I think he was. I just told him like how mint he was in the play. Like, he was really good. He was in the Harold Pinter play, which is mad that he was in the Harold Pinter show. But yeah, I just basically spoke at him, and he was like, he probably just gets it all the time. Yeah. But for me, I was just like,
he's great. He is very talented. I hope he comes back one day, but I don't know if he will.
He will. I think he's done.
Yeah, fair. Respect to that. And last, but by no means least, finish this sentence. Right now, I'm not there yet, but I'm working on.
Me.
Yeah.
It.
Everything.
Everything.
One step in front of the other.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Honestly, Tom, as you can probably tell, I'm a big fan. And I think what you're doing for people, for children, for society, I just think is a breath of fresh air. So please go check Tom out, the Chubby Northerner. Yeah, because I just think you're great. So thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice.